Hello, seventh grade, and welcome to our next lesson in Unit 10, which is lesson 9.3, which is all about measures of center. So far we have been talking about basics of statistics, as well as we have talked about your mean or your average. Now we're going to be talking about two other types of measurements, which are a way we can measure the center of our data. So our I cans are, I can understand the concept of measures of center, and I can find the median and the mode of the data set. Skipping our warm-up. All right. In what other ways can you describe an average of a data set? So remember we talked about other words for average. We've talked about mean. Usually those are the two big words. Let me know if anyone else has anything else. Your mean, your average, your... Yeah. So what we're really getting into then is talking about different ways or different numbers that are also going to be important to help us describe these data. So we're going to be talking mostly about median and mode. All right, so your median. What you need to do for your median is order the data. For a set that with an odd number of values, the median is the middle value. For a set with an even number of values, the median is the mean of the two middle values. So basically what you do, take your set of data, order it from smallest to biggest, and then as you go through, you cross off. Okay, I crossed off on one side. Okay, so you're going to find your way to the middle. So in this case, it's an odd number, so I'm just left with my answer being 9. And that's my median. In the case of this one, though, when it's even, because I cross one off here, one on the left or right side, one on the left, one on the right, I'm left with two numbers. So what I need to do is I need to find the average of those two numbers. So again, using that mean value. So I'm going to add up the two values, and then I'm going to divide it by how many values were added up. There was 2 being added. When I divide it by 2, I get an answer of 6. So then my median is 6. Your mode is, the mode of a data is the value or values that occur most often. So basically it's what number do you see in the sets of data do you see the most often. Sometimes data has no mode, sometimes it has one mode, and sometimes it has more than one mode. So in this case, you've got data points of 11, 13, 15, 15, 18, 21, 24, and 24. So they show that there are two modes. Your two modes are 15 and 24 because they are both shown having been used twice. Okay, so it's basically going to be whatever is the number that is used the most or the number you see the most within your data. So let's go ahead and look at this one. So we are going to look at example 1, which is to find the median and the mode of the bowling scores. Fun fact, my parents are part of a bowling league and they like to go bowling all the time. And sometimes what happens is that if you can't make like a bowling competition or if they're going to go bowl other people, is that they sometimes just use their average score. So the score that they, so they're adding up all the scores and dividing by how many times they've done that. So it's just what is your usual average score. But this one we're going to find our median and our mode. All right, so the first thing to do with this is to make sure you make a list of things from the smallest to the biggest. So in this case, 90 was your smallest, then it's 105, 120, 125, 135, 145, 160, 160, 175, and 205. Again, most of this should be review. I believe you should have learned this as early as 6th grade, maybe even 3rd, but I'm feeling like it's, or sorry, did I say 6th? As early as 4th grade, maybe even 3rd grade. All right, so to find my median, what I need to do is I need to find the center of this data. So you usually go along and you cross them off. So one from the left, one from the right, one from the left, one from the right, so that it's evenly matched. So in this case, I've crossed 3 off on each side. Now I'm going to cross up 4, and I'm left with the middle. So there's 2 different numbers that are in the middle here right now. And I need to find the average of these 2 numbers. So what I'm going to do is then I need to add the 2 numbers up. So 135 plus 145. I'm dividing it by how many numbers there are. So this gives me 280 divided by 2, or this is an answer of 140. Okay. So this is going to be my median. My median then is an answer of 140. So where's the middle of your data? The middle of my data is 140. Then your mode, remember your mode is the number that happens the most frequently. If you could have seen, even when we had this all labeled out in ordered number, there should have been at least one number that stuck out to you that you've seen at least more than once. Okay. And that number happens to be this 160. So the 160 occurs the most, so then your mode is 160. Okay, so here's your final answer for both of them. Your median is 140, and your mode then is 160. Okay, let me know if at any point that you're having a hard time with this. Please feel free to email me, text me. Please make sure you're sending the code word with you though, because I will be asking if you read if you watched this video. Again, most of this should be review, but if you're having a difficult time, let me know. All right, so we're going to go on to the on your own part here, and I want you to try and find the median and the mode of this data. All right, so take a minute to pause the video, find your median and your mode. When you get back, I will have the answers for both. Alrighty, welcome back. Here is your answers for these two problems. So my first thing for each one was that I labeled them in order from smallest to biggest. So I rewrote all these numbers from smallest to biggest. Then I counted along to find my median. So my median for number one is 12. And then my mode happened to be 20 because that's the number that I had double of, so 20. And it can always be more than that. Maybe you have 5 of those numbers. It's just the only number that I saw more than once was 20. Number two then, when I figure this out, I end up with 90 and 100 left as my median part. If I take the average of those, I get 95. And this one actually has no mode. Remember I told you could have no mode because there's no number that repeats within the data. Okay. Let's keep going. All right. Oh, yes, I forgot I had this in here. All right, so this one's kind of fun. Hopefully I can expand this just a little bit so that you can see every part of it. Okay. So we are going to be looking at this one, and it says the list shows the favorite movie types of movies for students in a class. Organize the data in a frequency table and then find the mode. So what we're going to do is you went around and you asked everyone's what their favorite was. But you didn't tally them up. You just went, okay, comedy, drama, horror. So what we need to do is we need to make a table, basically. So we're looking at the types of the movies, which are horror, action, comedy, and drama. And we need to figure out how many people voted for it. So we're going to go back through this list, and I'm going to cross off each time I get it, and then I'm going to add it to my tally here. So I'm just going to tally it up. So what I want you to do is create a little table like this on your notes and follow along with me. So it would be a good suggestion right now to pause the video, set up your graph, and then when you're ready, or your table here, when you're ready, go ahead and continue on, and I will be filling this in. All right, you should have then your graph ready to go, or I keep saying graph, your table ready to go. If not, again, please make sure to pause video, create a graph or a table that looks like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start reading. Okay, so it was comedy. So every time I do that, I'm going to cross it off. And I'm going to add a tally. So then I've got horror. Okay, I got another comedy. I've got action, horror, comedy, horror. Dang, a lot of people like horror films. Horror. Drama. Okay, so there's 2 drama in a row, so I'm going to add 2 to drama. There's 2 comedy in a row, so 2 more to comedy. Drama. 2 comedy in a row. Comedy. We've got an action. 2 horrors, so 2 horrors. 2 actions. Crossing them off as I go along, knowing I make sure to count them. Comedy, horror, action. Oh, action up to 5, and drama. All right, so then once we've got that, because it wanted us to organize the data in a frequency table, then the last thing is to find the mode. So what number or what vote showed up the most? Modes can also be without numbered data. So in this case, the one that had the most votes would be comedy. That's the one I saw the most. Most people like comedy. Would you agree or not agree? Give me a comment below. Do you agree with that, or would you pick a different type of movie? Maybe even one that's not on here. I agree with, I like comedy. I like I like the cheesy romance comedies. So action's not bad though. I do like some action movies. All right, let's keep going. All right. This one I'm going to kind of help you out with this on your own. It says one member of the class was absent and ends up voting for horror. Does this change the mode, and explain? So go back and look. Okay, here's all our votes for horror. If we add in that new person, okay, let's make them red. Where's my pen? Okay, here's my new votes. So what's going to be our modes now? Or mode? Or is there going to be no mode? Think about it for a minute, and then I'll go through. All right, so what ended up happening is that my comedy has a vote of 8, and now my horror has a vote of 8. So now you have 2 modes. You've got comedy and horror. So I'm just going to abbreviate it. So does it change the mode? Yes. Now I have 2 modes. Okay, so you can explain that on here. I'm not going to write it out just because my writing on my mouse is not doing so well. Okay. Let's keep going. We'll see if we can get through this example. If not, we will continue on in the next video. We could definitely start this one though. So this one what we need to do is find the mean, median, and the mode of all these sneaker prices. Which measure best represents the data? So maybe someone is going like, hey, I want to go to Finish Line. I don't even know, is Finish Line still around? Finish Line, I want to go to Nike and I want to look at all these shoes. Well, you'd be like, if you didn't know anything about those companies, maybe you'd ask a friend, be like, hey, what's the average price for a shoe so I know how much money I'm bringing? Maybe they want to actually know the median. Maybe they want to know how frequently those numbers are. You know, are most of the prices going to be $50? That would be your mode. So these sets of data would be important for some of those kind of discussions, or maybe something that the Nike wants to advertise as well, being like, hey, our shoes are on average this price. So you're looking at the wall of shoes here, and you've got a couple different sneaker options. And what we need to do is find these measures. So the first one we're going to start with mean. So this was on the last lesson video. So what you do, remember, you add up all these totals. So you're going to take the 20 plus the 31 plus 122 plus 48, so on, so on, so on, so on. There's a total of 8 different sneakers that you're looking on. So you add these all together, divide it by 8. So when you add them all together, you get 388. You divide it by 8, and you get a solution of 48.5. Okay, remember this can be in dollars, so you can leave it as 48.5. So you could tell someone, hey, on average, this company sells their sneakers for $48.50. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at your median. Median then, again, we would want to set this up in a number order. So setting it up from smallest to biggest. So going through and labeling these. So you've got 20, 20, 31, 37, 45, 48, 65, 12. So crossing these off along the way, and as you can see, they've already got the red ones here as your 2 middle ones. So I want something that's in between this. So that's where you're going to have to go back and do your mean again. So 37 plus 45 divided by 2, okay? And you get an answer of 41. So you could say, hey, the median or the middle number is $41. All right, this is about the time to end it. So I will see you on part 2. Please make sure to part 2 and we'll talk about the mode.